Hi Flosstube, I'm Chantel of Chantel's 141 and 141 Design Company, and welcome to my channel. In this episode, we're going to be talking about my New Year's Eve stitching plans, or what's being called a 12 by 12. The concept behind the 12 by 12 is not my own. It comes from a couple other Flosstubers, and I'm going to share all their details as well with you in just a moment. But basically, we're grabbing 12 cross-stitch projects, and starting at noon on New Year's Eve, we're going to work on each one of them every hour. So for instance, at noon, you'll grab a project, work on that for an hour. At 1 o'clock, grab the next project, work on that for an hour. 2 o'clock, yada yada, and so on and so forth. You get the drill. Anyway, there's a couple different ways that people are tackling it. There's what's called Team New Starts. I'm going to be on Team New Starts. And Team New Starts has 12 new starts kitted up, ready to go on December 31st. And at noon, I'll start working on the first one. And then at 1, I'll start working on the second one. And by midnight, I'll have 12 new projects started to launch me into 2023, which I think is kind of exciting. So that would be called Team New Starts. And there is a hashtag for it that is exactly that, hashtag Team New Starts. There's also a group of people who are working on their whips. So they're grabbing 12 whips from 2022, and every hour they're going to touch each one of them and put a few more stitches into them. And that's Team Whips. So they're working on previous projects they already have. There's also some groups that are doing half and half. Maybe they've got 6 whips, 6 new starts. Still going to do 12 between the hours of noon and midnight, but they're splitting it up. And then there's another group that's tackling it a little bit different too, with just doing it by theme. So they've got 12 new starts or whips that are all theme oriented. For instance, they're all Christmas or all Easter, that sort of thing. Tonight I wanted to show you what mine are because I'm going to participate as Team New Starts. Let me show you the hashtags so that you can go make sure you're following those hashtags. The originators of the concept for 12 by 12 are Kea from Kea Bee and Pam from Just Keep Stitching. Steph is also going to be joining Pam this year, so I'm going to link both of their sites so you can go over to their Flosstube channels and get the details from them as well. The hashtags to follow are going to be hashtag NYE 12 by 12, and they've typed out the word by, hashtag Team Whips, and hashtag Team New Starts. So go ahead and find those and be following, because throughout the day on New Year's Eve, you're going to see us all posting what we're doing and sharing, and you'll see Kea and Pam also popping in and sharing what they've been doing throughout the day, and it should be a pretty fun day. So I'm looking forward to it. I decided to share this with you guys now just before Christmas, in case somebody wanted to jump in on the idea. You'd have time to get some things together, whether it's pull your whips out and get those organized and decide which 12 you want to focus on, or grab some new starts and get those kitted up. Because I think one of the best ways to be successful on New Year's Eve doing this is to make sure you have your projects ready to go, and if it's new start, that everything is kitted and ready for you there. Let me show you how I've planned to do mine. I picked up, I've had these, but I got, it's attacking me, this clear bin which sits on my shelf, and I have used they're all bags that I've collected from Denise at Dot Dot Goose Designs. So I will also link her because I'm using her project bags. You can see I've got 12 of them here. They're so pretty all together. I'm kind of a Dot Dot Goose collector, so a little something. If you didn't already know, now you do. But let me go through each one of them because, okay, so first I've got my 12. They're ready to go for the most part. We've got a few things to add to them, but my 12 in a bin, right? I've also added some other organizational ideas and tips to this, and that is the Naptime Stitcher has given us a lot of ready to print like PDFs on her Etsy shop to keep us organized as well. So for instance, she has, these are my new starts. She has these cute little printouts, and I'm linking her as well, where this says New Year's Stitching Plans. So I have listed out my New Year's stitching plans, and I also wrote down in here that I've got projects 12 by 12 is ringing in the new year with 12 projects in 12 hours with Kea Bee and Pam of Just Keep Stitching. I've got my hashtags here, and I've got another special thing that I'm going to share with you as well. But Katie from Naptime Stitcher, she did this one, and you can see there's others as well that I have here in my planner. I'm using a Happy Planner, so they have the cute little titles on the top with like Thanksgiving stitching plans and St. Patrick's Day stitching plans. So I went ahead and printed those and punched them to put into my Happy Planner. I am also using her cross stitch project planner to detail all of the details of each one of my projects. So let me show you how one of those is working out. And for the most part, I have it all in here and written down and ready to go. But for instance, here's what they look like. You know, getting all the details written down and put in. So let me walk you through each one of them. I'm going to go in order that I have them here in my bag and show you what I've got planned for New Year's Eve. The first one in this bag, this was so cute. I loved it. And this, walk down memory lane with me, right? This is, this fabric is from the Maureen McCormick line from Blooming Bunch. She's the Brady Bunch, Marsha Brady girl. Anyway, I loved this. I think there's another fabric line coming out, but that was a really fun fabric line, and I loved it. So when Denise made a bag, I grabbed it. In this bag, I have, now this is a free chart from Hands On Design. So you're going to see the chart, but it is free. But what it is it's this autumn plaid for autumn, this little guy right here. And I have it kitted up in this bag using the called for DMC colors. And another thing I did to prepare for my New Year's Eve stitching is I punched a bunch of floss drops out of cereal boxes. Cereal boxes, and this was a granola box. Just a bunch of boxes that were in my cupboard. It was funny, my kids came in and they're like, "Where's the Fruit Loops?" I'm like, "It's just that bag sitting there," because I already cut the box up. But anyway, they found the Fruit Loops, so no worries there. But Mad for Plaid has these DMC colors, which are super pretty. So I got them all kitted up and ready to go. It's really fun with these, they're just kind of disposable. So I wrote down the colors right on the back. And I've got two different ideas for fabric on this one. Now, I could do it on, she did it on a black. I'm going to do it a little bit different, either on like a brown. So I have this brown espresso, which is 14 count. And I think these could look really pretty together on brown espresso, so I've pulled that. But if I decide to do linen, actually, yes, this is linen. I also set aside this from Fiber on a Whim. It's Milk and Honey, and it's 28 count. And I liked this too. So you can see where it's taken me a little bit to land on a couple things, but at least I've got it all ready, like it's in a spot. So this is what that could look like. And I think that's really pretty. So I'm still, in the decision mode on this one for just the fabric on what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, I've put them both in my bag and I've got it ready to go. And I don't know that this will be necessarily the one that I start at noon. I'm just going through in order of what I have here on my paper and how I listed them so that I can make sure I go through each one. So that's plaid for autumn. The next one that I have ready to go is from Teresa Kogut. So I put it into this bag that's in fabric from Teresa. I have the floss on one of my dials, the fabric, and let's show you the chart. Let me get it out of the plastic. It's a sweet little chart I found. And all of these were things, for the most part, were in my stash. And you can tell, okay, I can't get it out. There's not really a theme. They're not really big, but isn't that precious? It's Bunny and Bee from Teresa Kogut. And I have, you know what, let me get to my I've got this, move some things aside. This is what's awesome about the Happy Planner, is that I'm going through my papers here to show you, but I'm going to pull this one out so I can set that aside and then flip over to where I have all of my details on my cross stitch planners so I can make sure that I talk about what I'm doing here. Okay, this is Celadon, I believe. It's a 25 count Lugana is how you'd say that. And that's the colors for that. And here's the floss that I've picked. Now, I have chosen my floss from my stash. And the way I did it was these are actually classic Colorworks. And the chart had called for DMC. I also jumped into a group that is done by Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher, and Alicia, Fanciful Flamingo. They're doing a Facebook group right now that is SYS 2023, which stands for Stitch Your Stash. So I'm not like 100% committed to that I have to stitch my stash all year, but I'm going to give it an effort and give it a try because, you know, let's get some of this stuff used up, right? I've got it here. I've got to have the colors that are going to work. So what I did to convert just from my own eyeballs, this is I took my DMC color card. Now this color card I purchased this last year. It is the actual floss, so it's true to color. And what I've done is I've looked up each one of the DMC called for colors that were on this cute little bunny and bee that Teresa had listed. And then I just went to my wall of classic Colorworks and pulled these colors that matched up as close as I could get. And we're calling it good because it'll be great. And it's something, the green, everything was in my stash. So I pulled it all and put it together. Took a little bit of effort of working on it and putting it together, but it's going to be fun. And this little bunny is going to look adorable. And it's going to be variegated now and precious. So I'm excited about that one. That's Bunny and Bee. We're going to build our little pile over here. Our next one is the 2022 Collector's Heart. I've got it in this particular bag. The Collector's Heart is by Heart and Hand. And I love it. Now this one came with fabric, okay? I actually have some of these available in my Etsy shop, so you can grab it if you'd like to do this one too. And it came with the buttons. So it's got a couple little buttons you can see. It also came with fabric. So the fabric is a linen. It's a 32 count linen from Picture This Plus, Heartland Linen. Super pretty. And I went ahead and pulled mostly the called for colors, and I did have to do a few conversion because I didn't have any. I had a lot of the classic Colorworks, obviously, but the Gentle Art, there was a couple of Gentle Art and a couple of weeks in there, and I just converted them over to classic Colorworks as well. So what I did was on the back of my card, you can see it's Cocoa Bean is what I'm using, but on the chart, it's going to be number 3790. So I had plenty of space on these, you know, this was a fun, a fruit snack box. I had plenty of space in the back of the fruit snack box to write down the details that I would need to remember later on, because as time goes on, I'm going to start to forget that, right? But that's what's nice about the Cross Stitch Project Planner, is that I also have all those details written down right here on the page. So I'm going to know what's going on. Now, these drops, someone had asked me how I made them and what the cut was. Now, what I did was I just took my paper cutter and I trimmed strips, kind of like you would do with quilting. I trimmed down some 2-inch strips and then cut them in 3-inch rectangles. So they're 2 by 3. I hole punched, whoops, let's turn it this way. Hole punched the larger one in, the smaller one in, And then from scrapbooking days of old, I've got a corner rounder. So I just went through and corner rounded each one of them. That's my punch. So I don't really have a punch or a tag punch. I just cut strips of 2x3. And ta-da! So that's another one. Next up, we have Love Notes from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, and it's in this Dot Dot Goose bag. Love Notes is a collection of stitching from Brenda Gervais. It's been in my stash for a while. And it's these adorable little smalls, basically. What I did was I got all the DMC floss. This I did not pull from my stash. I just popped over to Hobby Lobby and grabbed them because I was there. So I got all the DMC. They're on my Fruit Loops. And I pulled aside a big chunk of Hemingway, 32 count Hemingway from Needle and Flax that I had in my stash. I think that's going to work very nicely. So I don't have individual pieces cut out. I just have the big piece in here. But there's my colors on the Hemingway for Love Notes. And we'll see. I'll get what I can get done, but I'll get one of them started. I won't start each one, obviously, on New Year's Eve, but I will start one from the Love Notes. The Love Notes chart. I don't know, which one's your favorite? What one should I start with? I really like her, but I also really like this one too. And I really like this one. And then of course this one and this one. So, what am I gonna do? I gotta pick something. So I'll pick one of them to start and I'll get started on that. Next we have one that's been in my stash for, a while, and I haven't been stitching for that long, but it's been there since kind of the beginning of when I started because I grabbed it really fast, and I'm sure you'll know why. It's in this pretty Dot Dot Goose bag that has actual glow-in-the-dark fabric, and it is by Plum Street Samplers, and it's Raccoon Rabble. Now, if you've been hanging around with me for a while, you know that I actually had a pet raccoon, so I love them. And these guys, all three of them, look at the little baby up there. They're so cute. And a lot of these have just been in my stash. And so I love this notion of getting them going, And then the 12 by 12 idea could even be the fact that I'm stitching 12 in 12 months, but I'm starting at the first of the year and I'll have these 12 to kind of hang on to through the month or through the year, right? So I've pulled aside this 28 count Mushroom Lugana for Raccoon Rabble, and I haven't gotten all the floss together yet. I'm working on pulling it from my stash, but I have an issue with the called for orange that is that pumpkin is Sweet Potato from Weeks. Well, I have Sweet Potato, but I guess it does kind of look like it, doesn't it? I don't know. It looked really pale. And so I also grabbed Persimmon from Weeks. That might be too bright. I'm not sure. So that's going to, of course, cause me fits, and I'm going to obsess over that. But I've got about a week, and I will figure that out. But in the meantime, Raccoon Rabble had made the cut for 12 by 12. The next one is Smallest Things Sampler from Heart and Hand. It's in this really pretty Dot Dot Goose bag. Thank you so much, Denise, for my collection. And this is it. Again, it's another one that I've had in my stash for a while. And because I keep gravitating towards the seasonal things, I'm kind of overlooking these. They don't really have a place, in the year. They're just kind of home pieces, So I just thought, let's just get them started and get them in the box. This one is designed for like a birth sampler, I believe. You put your, the baby's name in and their birth date. And I have 3 grandkids. That's all I got right now. It's just the 3 of them. So either I'm going to stop it here and just stitch this top part, or I thought I could stitch all of it. Then I was thinking about leaving that spot blank and finding a photo charm that I could, like a little locket or something, that I could put a picture of all 3 of them in there and then stitch it right onto the front of however I finish it. So their little locket of the picture of the 3 of them would be there, and I'd have a little photo included in it. So we'll see. Who knows how that will shake out, but let's get it stitched first, and then, like first things first, we'll deal with that later. It does have a few charms, and I have grabbed, see, this is why it's good that I have it written down, because I don't have it in this bag. Let me find the page. It's not in the same order on here. Should just take them all out of my book, but I know I wrote it down, so it's in here. Here we go. Oh, it's from, yes, Needle and Flax, Dirty Teacup. There it is. Did I have? Oh, okay, what I'm doing with this one, I have most of the, let me put this here. So there's Dirty Teacup. I love it. I haven't used it yet. I've been collecting some linen for this event, and it was actually kind of hard for me to cut into some of it, but I'm like, I need to get going. I can't just hoard this stuff. It's got to get made into something, right? We've got to get it on the walls. So this one, I don't have the floss in here yet, because the floss, there's a lot of classic colorworks. There's a lot of weeks. So I know I have all the classic colorworks, and I bet I can convert the weeks if I don't have that. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pull as I go. I'm going to hit the wall and grab what I need. And once I start, like if I need it and I put it, then I'll put it in the bag and keep going from there. That way, if I find a color that I'm like, I want to change that one, or let's look for something. I just haven't done anything with doing something that way yet. So I thought that would be a good one, because as you can see, there's a lot of fun little colors in here, and I already have an idea of what a lot of those would be, of the ones that I like. So I'm gonna see how that, let that be organic and let it grow from there. So anyway, the next one in the lineup is Forever in Peace. One that has caught my eye. I have it in this bandana bag. I do have the floss for it. It is all the called for, with the exception of this one. I switched over from Gentle-Arts to, let me show you the chart. You're like, what in earth is it even? Here it is. Forever in Peace is by Sweet Wing Studio, and it's this really cool flag that I think is really cool, I guess. I love it. Here's the floss. And I grabbed Parchment Lugana from, did I? Think so. 28 count, I believe. And so this white will be inside the flag. So most of it, you can see it's pretty full coverage. So I figured this worked. And we'll get it going. But I liked the flex. I don't think you can see them in here. Maybe you can. Do you see that? Sure enough. There you go. I like the flex in the fabric. I thought that looked pretty good. So we've got it in there. And in each one of my bags, I also have what she calls like a floss bed or something like that, where you can keep your floss as you're working, like the leftovers, the loosies, and put it in there. So Forever in Peace is that one. We're over halfway, guys. Now let's get this fixed up in here. After Forever in Peace, we have a red sampler in the red plaid bag, And I wanted to try this whole, I haven't done like a monochromatic stitch yet. So I thought 12 by 12 is a great one to introduce this one. I know it all seems kind of random, but like I said, I worked through and had some reasoning behind each one. But I picked up Florence Law, and I have a funny story about this one of why I chose what I did. Let's just chat about it. So I signed up to do, so many samplers this year. Anyway, there was, yeah, this is Florence Law. There's another one. Anyway, the other one that I'm doing, and you're all probably screaming at me because you already know what it is. But anyway, the other one that I'm doing, it's called, the called for fabric for it is Creme Brulee by Tabby Cat. And when I initially ordered everything, I got the kit. It came from Hobby House, and I got the chart, I got the fabric, I got the Soie silks, I got it all, and the, you know, like, got it all kitted up and stuff and ready to go, and it's going to be something I start in January. So I have some other things other than just this 12 by 12 going too, but it's going to start in January. But when I got it, I got this piece of, and you maybe saw this on my Instagram, this piece of creme brulee in the 16 count, and it had, well, here, I even started going on it a little bit. I cut it off now, but I started a little bit, and it wasn't really, I didn't like it. Let's just put it that way. I didn't like it, and decided that it was time to just go linen, okay? Not do something that grand, because it's a beautiful, beautiful stitch, and not do something that grand on Aida this time. Not because I don't like Aida nuts, but because I want to work on some linen, and I want to stretch myself, okay? And so I called them up, and I'm like, oh, do you happen to have any creme brulee in the linen? I changed my mind, and I know that, you know, you've got a lot going on and people have maybe bought it out. They were so amazing. Immediately I hear, of course, let's get you 32 count, and I'll send you you know, a call tag so that you can return the 16. Well, I had already been stitching on the 16, so I told her, I said, oh no, don't worry about that. The 16 can be for something else. I want the 32 count along with it. I'm not trying to return anything. I just want to get 32. So long story short, they sent me the 32 linen, and I'm going to be doing that on that. And I had this chunk of Aida sitting in my stash. So all that to say, I thought it was clever that on this particular sampler are the words, waste not, want not. So, creme brulee extra it is. And I'm going to be stitching this with DMC, and it's 8/16 for a red sampler. And we're going to see how I like that. I have a feeling I'm gonna. So I'm excited for this one. And we're just shoving it back in there. But it's got, you know, little stitching from that other still on there. So we've got a red sampler going as part of the 12 by 12. And that was an easy one to kit with just that one color. The next one on my list, and I'm still working on this one because I've got some fabric coming in that I think is going to be perfect for it. And so it's just in the loan bag right now. And it's in this particular Dot Dot Goose bag from the Flea Market Flowers from Lori Holt. It is an out of print chart, but you might be able to pick it up on. I found it on Etsy. I think there's more of them on Etsy. And it's from Birds of a Feather. And it's Love. I think there's some others that go too. There's like Patience and another one that I'm drawing a blank on. But this one, I was going to hold on to it for Valentine, but I'm going to get it started anyway. It might, and then I may not touch it again until February. We'll see. But look at, it's so cute. And then I'm going to put, you know, like put my husband and I are initials on there. So it's still waiting for, I think I'm going to grab just the DMC colors if I, or just pull from my own because I'm in the Stitch Your Stash mode. And I'm just waiting on one particular fabric that I think is going to be pretty cool with it. I just purchased it from Cedar River Linen. It's Trixie Tricycles linen. It was new. She just opened her own shop. And let me write that down and I can find it and link for you guys so you can go over and check that out too. I think it's called Cedar River, yes. And she had a linen in there. And I remember that it was called Overcast. And I think that would look good. I think that's going to be good for that. If not, I have another one. So it's not a problem. I have linen. I just liked supporting her launch of her new business. So I jumped on that and just got something so I could try. The next one I have is Bless Our Home from Heart and Hand. And it's in this one. This bag is from the Prairie Fabric from Lori Holt. I like it when Denise does the Lori Holt ones. I tend to grab those for sure. But look at this bag. It's so cute. And this chart, again, it's another one that's been in my stash because I like charts that are about home and have the word home in them. And I like the variegation. I like the simplicity of it. And I'm really kind of praying that maybe this year is our year for, I think I've got one house in my brain to buy, and I'd like to get it this year, but we'll see what happens. It's the neighbor right next door to my daughter, and anyway, you know how it goes. But I've got all the called for colors, with the exception of like the tree trunk or something, and they're so pretty. I love that. So I thought, let's get it going. So, and this is the fabric is a 25 count. Oh, it's that same parchment. Yes. Parchment, 25 count Lugana. Comforting, fun to grab, small. You know, because like I said, I've got some other projects in the works too. So this 12, I wanted it to be light, you know, just lighthearted, not big heavy duty projects. The next one I have is from Hands On Design, and it's Stitch Some Happy. Here it is. This particular finishing style on Stitch Some Happy, she said right here on the back that if you watch her Flosstube number 59, she gives you the complete directions on making this. And I have one of them right back there. It's so cute. Someone had gifted it. I was a small exchange. I loved it and I want to learn how to make it. So I thought I got to get this stitched so that I can figure that out. That is also one I'm going to pull colors as I go. And I've got it on this linen. So far I've got it pulled, unless the Overcast is good, but it's a 32 count linen and the color is called Plateau, but I'm not 100% sure on the maker. I think it might be Witchelt. It's fairly stiff, but I think it'll be a good candidate for this one. And it's this cute. Look at, I mean, doesn't that make you happy? Look at these. What possessed me? I don't know. They were just fun. I like the colors and I like the denim pockets. I think that's probably what drew me to this bag, but it was one I ordered from Denise a while back. I was in a mode, it takes a couple of weeks to get a bag from Denise. So, you know, what I would do is I'd order one, and then when one came in, I'd order another one. And then I kind of had a revolving door, I guess is what I'll say, of bags. Now, the last one I have in my bin, and then my bin is empty, number 12, it's a sampler, but it's just a small sampler, and it is Hannah's Little Sampler from the art Needleart by Wendy. You can see right there. These are new, and they're just tiny little samplers, which I think are super cute. Now I'm switching this up a little bit because as I looked at it and I saw these little, you know, the little alphabet letters up here, just, you know, it's typical sampler letter things. I decided to use the leftover floss, so it doesn't look anything like this. You know what? I'm going to show you one little thing about this too, because like, you know, look at, that chart is in color. I was really surprised by that. So these, Happy Little Stitch Shop, she's got a club for these. And let me link her too, because you might want to go get into the club and get all of them, because I think there's a whole year's worth. And I'm gonna get in on it because I want to do some of these little baby samplers. And when I saw that chart was color like that, I mean, I was super excited. That's gonna be fun to do. So what I thought I'd do was I'm going to do it on the other half of the fabric I used for Ellen Barber, which is this by Fortnite. It's Mind Blowing, or I think Mind Blowing is the name of it, by Fortnite. It's got all those purples and things in it. And I'm gonna just wing it and use the silks that were left over. Now, where do you see these silks? Doesn't look anything like that. But I want to use these and just kind of do a conversion as I go. We'll see. I think it'll look precious. And then it's a little sampler I can put, you know, inside along, like the flowers are going to pop, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It's small. It's a fun thing to play with. I like to experiment, and I'm looking forward to that. So those are my 12. And I'm going to get them starting at noon, like I've said, on New Year's Eve as Team New Starts. That's where I'm at. Now, a couple other things I wanted to talk to you about for this whole concept of 12 by 12. As I mentioned before, you could use, maybe you just want to do a few of them, or you want to be the whips person or something. The ones that I chose are, I initially thought I'd kind of like to see them get finished before I start kitting up things for Mania, because this year Mania, I'd like to do 31. Now that's crazy, I know, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I've got more bags ready in another one of these ready for May. I was thinking that maybe these would be done by then and I could, you know, free up some of these. But then I also thought these will be, I know there's going to be new stuff coming out. I know there's going to be more things I want to do and want to add into the mix. And I also have some large projects that are part of the mix. I know Chicken Club is coming. That might be fun to throw in there. And, you know, there's just going to be stuff. You know, there's new stuff coming. There just is. That's the way it is. And I'm expecting it and embracing it. I am going to work on trying to use up my floss this year. So anything that does come around new is probably going to be just, I'm going to buy a lot of charts maybe. And that'll be it. So that would be, this could be like 12 in 12 months as well. Like I got them started and now by the end of the 12 months, I want to see them finished. You could also tackle 12 by 12. Like I said, I believe Stephanie is doing it in a theme. So she's doing all Christmas. You could tackle 12 by 12 by just doing one style of chart, which I thought of this, that would be kind of a fun way, and maybe grab one of those seasonal pieces, right? So on New Year's Eve, you may not be able to do one every hour, but you sure could work on maybe January of a 12-month series and then get going and get that started. So you've got something that would be 12 by 12 months and kind of stretch it out that way. See how I work that? How I kind of twist that around? So there's a few different ways to kind of work on the concept. Now, I also came up with my own little game for myself. And you can do it too because it's easy. I had to make it, of course, because that's how I go. But I made what I'm calling whip sticks. I'm not selling these, but because you can make these guys, right? Anyway, it's a box with a bunch of sticks in it, and it's called whip sticks. I have one with my logo on it. So this is mine already made up with my 12. Let me show you. On the end of each one of my whip sticks is the name of my charts, my 12. So what I'm going to do is randomly, as I decide, I don't have a specific date or time or anything scheduled for these 12. Okay, these 12s, they're extras. They're things that They're not seasonal except for the Valentine hearts, but that still could be whenever. They're just kind of extras that were in my stash that I wanted to get going. So what I thought I'd do is from time to time, I'd go pull and see what the whipstick, kind of like a magic 8-ball. Let's see what the whipstick has for me today. Go over and grab one, and oh, sure enough, the whipstick wants me to work on Bless Our Home from Heart and Hand. So I'll go work on Bless Our Home from Heart and Hand. But it also could be something, you know how it is when you are, I don't know, I'm going to guess all of you are like this too. You're in the car and you need to go grab something to eat. And your husband says, what do you want? And you say, oh, anything. And then he says, oh, we'll go here. And you're like, oh, not that. And so he's like, oh, okay, this one. Oh, no, not that. Well, that could be how your whipsticks work too. Like you go, okay, let's grab one. It says plaid for autumn. And you're like, I didn't really feel like that one today. So maybe another one. Give another try. Bless Our Home came up again. Oh, I already did that one. Give another try. And then Stitch Some Happy. Oh, I already did that one last week. You know how it goes, right? Till all of a sudden you're going to go, oh yeah, we'll just do this. Or maybe you go get one you're already working on and use something completely different. I'm just playing. But anyway, I made myself a game. And to make one for yourself, if you want to make one of these, all I would do is go get a cup. A Rae Dunn cup skin. Did you hear that truck go by? Oh my gosh, a storm is coming, you guys. And so this is, I'm filming this on December, I don't know what date it is. Anyway, but we got that big storm coming, and I think they're out there plowing. But anyway, go get a cup, like a Rae Dunn cup or something with some cute words on it. Grab yourself some popsicle sticks and write your 12 charts down, or any charts that you want to do, and make yourself a whipstick game so you have them at your own house. But that's what I have, and I just thought I'd share all that with you guys. I hope you guys are having fun and having a fantastic holiday. I will be on again and sharing more with you, but I wanted to share this special episode of just the 12 by 12. Now, like I said, let me hold this up again. Kea Bee and Just Keep Stitching. And these are your hashtags to follow so that you've got those on your radar, and go over and see all of the other things as people are getting them. I will post pictures of mine and hashtag Team New Starts, as well as the NYE, because that's what I'm doing. And I look forward to seeing you with all of your 12 by 12 new starts. So thanks for joining me with this episode, and I'll be back with some more fun things later on. Bye, guys.